Welcome back to Gold Squadron podcast coverage of the X-Wing World Championship, Day 2, Top 16, Sweet 16 here. Winner moves on, loser goes home, and the margins couldn't get any tighter. We are sponsored by CurlPawCreatives.com. That's been our sponsor the entire week. Use the promo code WORLDS2019 for 15% off your order. Every time you do that, it helps us bring content to you. We've got 3 streams here for you. We're going to be switching back and forth, and we're really excited here. I'm so excited to have Travis Johnson. We're going to have Andrew Bunn here with us today, and they're going to take you through the next 75 minutes. Travis, take it away.
Hi, everyone. So, I'd like to welcome Andrew Bunn. Say hi, Bunn.
Howdy, guys.
Andrew Cinnabon Bunn.
That's right.
Sorry for your loss last round.
This is a few rounds ago.
I'm
over it now.
Are you over it? Oh, wow. You moved quickly.
I knew it was going to happen all day.
All right, so we have a great game here. We have it's in Zeru?
Yeah.
In Zeru.
Out of Poland?
Out of Poland, yes. Playing what looks to be but a slight tweak on traditional Rebel beef, right?
Yeah. I mean, everybody was worried it was, demolished with the nerfs, but we were thinking of, Jake in that slot instead of Wedge, which is the normal ship, that force ship. But Arvo is, an interesting take there.
Right.
Lets you do some interesting block stuff with intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
And probably catches a lot of people off guard, I think.
Right, and so we had an earlier one. Paul lost to what I usually was calling the Rebel backbone, which is the Cassian wedge. But we still really, I think, at the end of the day, it's the Cassian is the backbone, right?
Yeah,
it's
Cassian with Leia,
right.
That's amazing. And, I mean, that really enables the B-Wings, right? I would say, Cassian Braylon is, the core of these lists.
Well, I mean, we've seen everything. That's why I say it was
true.
the wedge before. That
they're all good ships, and they're still really good.
Right.
So.
And so, really, we have the Braylon and Tin Num with the Cassian backbone, and in this case, as you noted, the Arvel, who can shoot at range 0, and with the intimidation is a fantastic blocker, just kind of doing whatever it needs to do to disrupt, do what it needs to do.
Yeah, so if Arvel in this game is ever able to catch anything in a block, essentially, that's going to set up the entire list extremely well. You're going to have super accurate shots from everybody. Arvel's still going to be able to contribute on offense, and that ship's going to melt.
Yep. So just a moving landmine. And on the other side, we have Ollie Pocknell out of the 186th in England. And we have a pretty traditional Imperial aces, right? We have just naked Grand Inquisitor, Whisper with passive Censor's fifth brother, and Darth Vader passive Censor's afterburner.
One thing to note with this compared to, I would say, the most traditional Imperial aces is with Duchess and Sunte, for example. But this list, you have 3 guns that are extremely accurate. You have Force Target Lock for Grand Inquisitor, you have Force Target Lock for Whisper, and you have Force Target Lock for Darth Vader. And that's really hard to do with these ace lists typically. The offense tend to suffer, but obviously Ollie's been really successful with this more aggressive version.
Right. And in this case, you have Vader who, so in this case, he's not trying to outbid people, right? He's going for...
Yeah, that's what really surprised me.
Right. So, he can't, right? It's just Whisper's more expensive. Vader is Vader. I mean, you can bid well with Vader, but not usually with Vader and Whisper together.
Actually, to that point, I just realized now, he has passive Sensors Vader, which is your key in those cases where you are outbid.
Right.
I played against that the other day as a Sunter outbidding a Vader, and you get into a lot of difficult situations where it's we're going to trade shots, and that's generally not good for me.
Right.
So that
the infinite initiative barrel roll is a very key move for that.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, you're able to, during combat, you take a lock as your action, and then you can Vader ability off of that to barrel roll to reposition in combat after you've seen everything move.
Right. And so the idea is, since most any other I6 will make you want to move first, correctly, not incorrectly there, the irony is that move first, shoot first. So when you use your passive sensors, like you said, you take the target lock from there. So your Vader target lock, even though you moved first, which is hard to get, then you use your Vader pilot ability to take the barrel roll to regain arc if you were arc dodge. That's not always true, but it's a lot
or
more
arc dodge.
true.
I mean, there's some crazy things you can do, and if people aren't used to playing against it, I feel like it catches so many people off guard.
It does.
It's a fairly new card. Not everyone's used to seeing it.
Even with playing a Sun Fac, there's many times is
you move them, they move
move themselves right back, right? And worse, if you don't move them, they can just barrel roll even farther away. So you're still better off trying to do it.
So I really like Ollie's approach so far. I mean, pretty traditionally, Rebel Beef is going to start in a corner. You're kind of waiting to see whether they're going to roll down the board edge, or in this case, they're cutting back here. So what I like here is this is Grand Inquisitor in the top of the board-ish here. He's in a good spot to just hard turn back, take a look to see if he can, because he's seen them do that turn now, so he can see if he can start getting behind them on the side while the others approach from this other side.
And and ultimately he's trying to get something behind, right? Inquisitor's one of the more nimble of all the things here, because he has boost, he has barrel roll.
And the dial on the Inquisitor is still amazing. and he's going to be able to chip with those range 3 shots. Not quite as effectively as first edition because you still get the range bonus.
Right.
But still a 3-dice shot.
And then the other two, Vader's still he's not an immune target, but 3 agility and 3 force is a pretty good strategy. I mean, you don't want to take too many shots in the same round.
He's not like draining his force too much for this list because he doesn't have things like like precog. Generally, it'd be more force starved, but like I mean, you still like any one of these aces doesn't really want to end up in front of all those firing arcs.
No.
You're going to take a lot of damage, and that's probably not going to be a favorable trade. So all he really wants to do is he wants to get one ace maybe engaging safely ahead of the initial full engagement. Would be.
Well, one thing that I don't think, well, maybe I haven't seen, maybe I'm out of tune here, but we haven't seen a lot of Whisper play in a while. And so Nova, for instance, I played the Vulture Swarm. And one of the things I think people have sort of forgotten since the Phantoms in general have gone up in price, Phantoms are really, for lack of a better phrase, dunk on swarms. And this is not a swarm, but it's still a formation flying
he's still moving after every ship, and I mean, if all he plays is right, he's going to put Inzaro in a lot of positions where he has to guess which way he's going to decloak. And if he guesses wrong, that's going to put Ollie in an amazing position.
And as long as Whisper, even if he guesses right, Whisper can just, if it survives that turn, do it again. Just like
Whisper, especially with this build, always has the option to stay cloaked. You have an evade, you have a cloak, you have a force token. Like, if you're the one who's getting shot, like, you can survive a round of shots that way if you need to.
So this is where he's going to slow down a bit. Ollie's going to slow down a bit, just kind of, all right, let's see what's going on. Okay, so he didn't turn back in.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that he did that one turn with or at least a turn with the Inquisitor to reset there and be able to come from behind here.
And the thing with the Leia going up in points and everyone thinking it all died, because it wasn't Leia that only went up. Wedge went up, Braylon went up, Cassian went up.
They really hit everything across the board.
And you can see that the skeleton is obviously, because it's disappeared off the radar for so long, and here we are at Worlds, and it's performing.
And look at how many points he had for all these extra goodies, right? He's got crack shot on everything. He's got hollow grade, like.
And I mean, crack shot on Cassian and Wedge basically snuck in some very savage crits on Paul back in a few games ago. I'm just saying, like, even then, those crack shots, as people like to think, whatever, a few extra points, really matters. Crack shots probably pound for pound one of the best upgrades in the game still.
For sure.
Even when you're not a super arc dodger, just having it there.
Oh, I just remembered something I wanted to comment on. What I find really interesting here is that there's no clouds on the table. If I were playing Ollie's list, my first instinct would be clouds, because with aces, especially like, I mean, it really feels like it's kind of like the replacement for auto thrusters right now is like for against a lot of things like swarms or torps or things like that. It's nice to be able to rely on those gas clouds on an engagement to like get the most out of them. That's easier said. I mean, that's easier to do when you have things like the Republic Jedi, just because of all the affinity they have for gas clouds, sort of.
I mean, my hypothesis only can be that he felt that it helped, or the gas clouds were too much of a liability in the Republic matchups.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I assume he feels like they help other people more than him,
Yeah.
right? So I wonder who brought what. My guess might be that the debris were brought by the Rebel squad, though.
Right, because of the stress factor.
The Leia and Cassian stuff, right?
Right. They're a
wings.
feature for Braylon and Tim.
Right, exactly. So Ollie going for the traditional rocks, but that's actually pretty useful here because, like, obviously the Rebels can more or less ignore the clouds to a certain extent. So.
I mean, I feel like there's going to just be the decloak to the right for Whisper. I mean, he can. I mean, I don't see there's a hard.
Like,
there's just no
reason to go forward. And, yeah, you're definitely – I think what Ollie wants to do here is definitely kind of slow down with these two,
Right.
try to sort of stall with Vader and Whisper while he gets Inquisitor to go behind here.
Exactly.
The question, like, what do you think? Which way do you think Inquisitor is going around that rock? Do you think he's going wide left?
I would go wide left. I mean,
that's definitely the safer thing to do.
I'd go safer because,
and
again,
as long as he's giving himself enough time, because like
yeah,
the hardest
that's the
thing,
time factor.
the hardest thing with an ace engaging like this kind of list is you need things to arrive at the right time. You can't have Inquisitor like coming all the way around and arriving too late.
I mean, to be fair, he could have two straighted in front of that rock. I mean, I don't know the distance.
Yeah,
so.
it looks like that would fit and then just barrel. Like
So,
he might actually be doing that.
For the crowd to remind everyone, we as sort of the viewers here, we suffer from a little bit of parallax error. We don't have a bird's eye view, so to the extent that we are broadcasting saying the two straight fits, we think it does at this slight angle. You know, maybe it doesn't, but I assume that he could two straight barrel roll on either side of the rock. So that's also an option, but. Yeah, I was thinking he could go a little around the rock with the boost and be there, but I'm afraid his time could be a factor because, you know, like unless Vader starts really uncommitting, right?
Yeah, I mean, do you expect like a one bank from Vader here?
I did.
One bank rollback?
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have to. There's a few other options
And I
that
mean,
aren't terrible.
and Zaro is correctly here, I think, is
Speeding
hugging the
up.
board edge. Well, he's not rushing the engagement, right? Like, he knows time is sort of in his favor, right?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, he has the final salvo advantage, and he knows that it's going to be difficult for Ollie to kill a lot in time,
Right, I
just
agree.
because there's so much health to chew through.
I agree.
So what he's hoping is that he gets a strong engagement where he's able to get all his firepower on a ship, and that Ollie's just not able to kill enough. Because, I mean, if we ran this game for 3 hours, like, Ollie might have enough time for his aces to eventually whittle everything down, right?
And the key is what slows the aces down even further is the aces have to respect Leia. Right?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
the Leia turns, really, they just almost have to bail out
it's
a little
actually so
earlier.
game-changing. Like, and I didn't really realize it till you said that, but, like, I played aces this Worlds, and, like, before, like, 3 months ago, I feel like it would have been so much more difficult to approach a lot of these swarms just because, like, the threat of the K-turn is so terrifying. Like, because with aces, you're always trying to get behind the list, and Leia just kind of is able to do those K-turns with no penalty and, like, completely negate any sort of positioning advantage you get. That's what you call it there.
But yeah, and that's the fear, right? It slows down the aces even more than that damage race because they just have to respect it, and when they don't, they could just lose.
Yeah. So I really like Ollie's patience here. It looks like he's created a pretty strong position so far. Yeah, I mean, this next turn should be kind of interesting because we're going to really see how the engagement's going to develop. Like, I don't think we're going to get – there might be some shots next turn, but I don't think there's the full brunt of the engagement's going to start. But we're going to see how the approach is going to happen.
Based on where Vader is, I'm not even sure there's a decloak here. I'm not sure that he needs a decloak.
To the left, I think.
I mean, you could.
I'm pretty sure it would fit at least, like, backwards a little bit. I mean, you could – again, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, without the decloak, you could end up here, barrel. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be pretty scared of that not working. So I really hope for Ollie's sake he's got that decloak.
I mean, he knows. I think the thing is if we don't have a good angle,
obviously
I'm
he
sure
finished the turn here. He must feel comfortable with it.
And I bet with the bird's eye, that's pretty obvious. Like, because I think we have the slight angle, but I'm pretty sure if he's just looking at it, it's pretty clear that fits or not.
So I think that's the obvious move from Whisper there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The question is, does he, like, bank back down? Or does he – because – I mean, there's a lot of different things that Ollie could do here. He could be kind of aggressive with the Inquisitor, who I assume is unstressed, because that's just the 4-star.
Oh, yeah, that's just 4-star.
So he could, like, 3-bank in really aggressively. You don't have too much to worry about except for, like, maybe, like, a pivot. But, like, this is kind of a bad spot for Inzara to rotate because of that debris there, right? So he doesn't want to just turn in place here. He probably wants to at least bank would make sense.
I think so.
Or he could keep hugging the board edge, but I don't think he can risk that given that, I mean – Whisper could pounce, but it's definitely like one of those mind games. Like, he knows Ollie's a good player and is probably not going to want to sell out an ace right here. So,
if anything, I'm not saying this is what's going on, but because of the positioning, I like this. This is a turn that I feel they can actually be more aggressive.
Yeah, so I'm definitely thinking that debris is.
I mean, it's really not a rock, so it's not. I'm not comfortable. So it depends on Ollie's threshold.
What I would expect is a bank in from Inquisitor. I'm not sure how fast. He might do a little slower to give himself a little more time.
Yeah.
And then I think like a one bank for Vader because it lets you barrel in or out. And then the decloak.
The 3-turn seems exceedingly greedy, to be honest.
the move for Whisper is what I'm most curious about. He wants to set up like his decloak for next turn, so I think that's what you got to think about.
I agree.
And so like I was thinking that bank down, but I'm not sure that gives you the. If the decloak left from there, the next turn would be the right spot to be. But that would at least give you, ideally there, if he sets up sort of in front of that rock, facing that rock, for the engagement here, I have the option to decloak either way. So if the swarm like bit hard on the right, he'd be in a much better position.
Right, I agree. Yeah, you're thinking the decloak here with some
sort of bank sitting in front of that rock.
Right, and that way you can go this way or this way.
And the only thing I don't like about that is then I think you have Vader and Whisper sort of close together, so he like sort of obviously bites into the middle of the board at that point. So the decloak.
And see, like we have that error, but it's very obvious that was
plenty of room there.
It was never even a question for either player that decloak fit.
And I guess obviously you need to pick the maneuver that clears here, but it looks like the one bank probably gets over Vader.
Oh, so he's turning in early. Well, that's not true. Just because Arvel's there, the others could bank in. It's not a problem.
So, yeah, okay. The bank here makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, this is the most, very good position for Inzaro still. He has a lot of options from here. Inquisitor probably is going to be able to come in and get a shot this turn for free.
And Zara's like, bumps? Yeah, but who cares? Rebels didn't come here for any actions. He also probably doesn't actually expect an engagement here, to be honest, right?
Right. I mean,
any engagement here is like a freebie.
Aces are going to wait another turn. And, of course, B-Wings, as they do, failing bailout rolls on purpose to get the stress.
Weird.
It's a very, very engaging mechanic.
It's threes. I forgot for a second. 3 is red. So
so he'll have the stress.
Yep.
So the interesting thing is here, let's assume Quiz comes in and has a shot. Would you shoot Cassian here through a rock or Braylon through a rock with the rerolls? I mean, Cassian's mods
I think
are
it's
better.
Cassian.
Getting laid off the board is definitely the most impactful in this matchup, I would say.
I don't know the math, so I'm going a bit.
So that is Braylon in the back, right?
Yeah, it's Braylon. The reason I say that is I associate in my head as a heuristic as Braylon is like Han. And so with the rerolls, it just feels like you're not going to do significant damage on Braylon. And then going forward, it's still harder to do damage on Braylon. So it just feels like he's a bad target. But, I mean, he knows his damage output better than anyone else. So he might actually be able to pump damage better.
Exactly. Like we were saying before, this is an Imperial Aces squad with very accurate offense.
So it might be right to actually hit Braylon just because you have
I'm
good
sure he's
damage.
been really successful by just erasing things. And, I mean, there's a lot of things below PS5 that you're going to be able to PS
It's a pretty good strategy.
Or initiative kill. So far, sort of what we expected there, hiding behind the rock. So, like, with the way that Inzero's has committed so far, I actually really like the decloak to the right as Vader is coming in the middle. So you have this sort of three-pronged attack that
I agree.
You really like with the aces because it's going to be – I think it's too risky for Inzero to commit to that right attack from Whisper because if you guess wrong, then you just kind of lose.
And even if he guesses
right. So he has to bite on Vader.
Yeah, and even if he guesses right. So we're talking about this next
it's
turn.
going to be – I mean,
he's
going to like four straight.
He's going to be keep so committed because – if he doesn't kill, he just gets out, and he's so overextended.
Like, he can't afford to take that risk.
Right.
Because there is obviously the chance that
it's
Whisper
win-win.
goes in.
He doesn't take the risk, and so what? Or he does take the risk, and he's so committed in that direction.
Yeah, so I'm really happy with how that worked out for Ollie there.
Oh, there's
that was aggressive. That we didn't expect.
So he could do the afterburners barrel roll and be out of arcs.
You're thinking the bank boost and then roll?
Or he could just do the straight boost barrel roll.
Yeah. You think he gets all arcs with that? I mean, worst case, you're taking a shot from Braylon, but I guess looks like you're right here.
Oh, so he's gonna at least that one, so you can have either barrel roll that you need.
So you have the barrel, and then you still have a target lock and a force or two left. So I mean, an aggressive start here from Ollie, but
I think he's going for the damage strategy. So I'll be interested to see. I think he won't shoot Braylon now because of this distance, and he wants same target.
Oh, you think Whisper's in range? Yeah,
I think he wants
really
same
tell
target.
The distance, but I think you're absolutely right.
Well, actually, I think it's going to be Cassian only because of same target.
Yeah, just because of 3 targets. Yep.
I think he probably – I think I agree with you, though. Had he had Braylon same target, it probably would have been Braylon same target.
But, yeah, I mean, I would say is fairly good engagement for Ollie here. And a turn earlier than I expected, but the aggressive move at Vader paid off for you.
It just feels weird. I think the Imperialists, people undercredit how damaging it is.
Well, I think, that's why he's been so successful is, how aggressive this list can be.
Oh, damage cam. Make sure it's on. It's on. Let's see what happens. That's definitely range 2, unobstructed. Assuming Cassian here.
And so Vader and Quiz have a lock right now.
What do you know?
That's
weird.
Good.
Yeah, you spin the focus.
Because he's only taking 1 shot in return
and
instead of the force.
It's all shields, though, sadly.
Should get the focus off here.
Yeah. But this is also diminishing their offense, right? Makes Whisper even more tanky.
I mean, Whisper is fine here with the rock. And, the juke will be effective here. Or there is no juke.
No, it only fits because the Naked Inquisitor. That's a very thick spur.
And did he? Oh, he took the focus for his action. He chose not to passive sensors this turn because he knew he'd need the extra defense here.
So he's out of force.
That's Quiz's shot.
Oh, wow. All right.
Pretty good roll there.
Yeah, that happens. Okay, just do what you want, man. Ollie also laughing about it.
So 2 more damage. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Down.
all these dice were good there, but I'd say it was pretty close to average overall, especially with the green roll. So, I mean, 3 damage into Cassian. If I were Ollie, I'd be really happy with that.
Oh, man. It's not even going to be range. It's just going to be Cassian. It's
just
Cassian.
Maybe not Arvel either.
Oh, Arvel, too. You're right. Sorry.
But, yeah.
I mean,
beautiful
Arvel
engagement here. Next turn should be really interesting. Because
they're laughing that they thought they were broken dice, but Inzara mentioned that they appear to be fixed now. Range 3.
Ollie used up all the luck.
All right. I would say that's a pretty good engage and position, and particularly on the positioning part. Obviously, the damage matters, but I think the position.
Yeah, I mean, it feels really good as the ace player to get in that amount of damage on this turn because, I mean, the difficult thing about the Rebel Beef is they stick around for a long time. It's hard to get things off the board, and there's a lot of staying power there. Like, they're able to stay on target very well with all the stress abilities and, like, hard turns on the B-Wings and all these things.
I mean, so what do you think is all right, knowing the decloaks, right? So he can go either here, bank in, or 2 straight, whatever, live your best life. But in reality, I suspect that's the
I think
the
we're all
distance,
expecting that. So the interesting thing is, does Inzaro choose to, like,
that's the thing.
go
As
really
the
hard
Rebel
at
player,
that?
which way does I don't know what you want to do. So this
it seems so risky. Like, and I'm not typically, like, I don't like to be in the jousting list position because of these tough decisions you have to make where it's like, it feels like you really have to call what the ace player does, and if you're wrong, you just get so punished, right?
Right. I mean, I didn't bring Leia to make decisions.
That's true. I mean,
not this early anyway. Certainly.
He also has the option to hard turn or turn hard towards the right, essentially, here, and face both Vader and Inquisitor. Because Vader's in kind of a tough spot here. Yeah. He's very close. So, like, if you get a 2-turn from Cassian here, any of your turns in or anything aren't really viable. He has the option to maybe 1 or 2 straight and then barrel away and, like, sort of react there. But, I mean, if everything sort of turns towards Inquisitor and Vader here, like, that's a really rough spot for Vader to be. If he chooses to bank in, then he could get blocked by Cassian and blown up by the rest of the squad. And don't forget, Arvel's here. Arvel can.
The problem with Arvel is I just don't know if he can get sufficient space.
I think
might
he
be
can.
able to.
It's just a matter of he has to call what Vader's move is. Like, if I'm Vader here, the first thing I'm looking at is getting out, really.
Yeah.
Like, a bank away or something like that.
The problem is I think Ollie is feeling pressure to stay aggressive. So I'm
That's
wondering
true. I mean, his other option is he tries to take Cassian off the board this round.
I just wonder if he keeps the 2 straight so he can stay flexible, meaning like,
yeah,
okay,
I mean,
so if he does the hard commit,
like
then he can kind of.
I'm worried about the B-Wings
No,
still having a great shot.
I super agree. I don't disagree. I just meant like maybe that way he feels like, oh, well, I can kind of limit the damage kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Then I have this kind of coming in behind, which feels really good.
Right.
I think as a Rebel player, I'm at least considering that option. Right. Like it seems a pretty.
If I were Ollie, I would expect Inzero to hard turn here with most of the list, and so you would have Whisper behind, and you need to dial like a pretty safe move with Inquisitor to not get too punished.
Oh wow, the dial's already set. No, not too hard of a.
And then the bank with Vader there would, I think, be the best move. But I mean, there's just so many things that can happen here, and like Inzero has still so much potential damage that can come out.
I agree. It's just the concern of losing the damage if he doesn't commit. Oh, I see the turns. I think you're right. There it is. There it is.
Too, just because it blocks so much of Vader's. Oh, well, and this is who he wants to block with, right?
Right.
So the question is, does he choose to stay here or not? I mean, that blocks a lot of Vader's down. I'm not sure if that gets the one straight or the one bank.
So this is though, like, if Arvel's doing this, he has to fully commit to do shots, or it's functionally irrelevant.
This is really interesting. It might block some of Vader's disengagements, but at least his 3 bank would clear that. It might also block Quiz. But I would hope Quiz did like a 1 bank in one of the directions, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. I would have done. I think either. I mean, even the 2 straight gets him out.
The 2 straight from Vader you're talking about?
No, the
2 straight
Quiz. But I think the banks were pretty solid, right?
Yeah.
Because you have boost to get you back into the fight, right? Like there's no harm. But I agree with you.
Yeah, this is.
If you had called the 2 hards, there was a lot of escapes. Like.
I mean, the really interesting thing here is what did Vader do? Because I think that could decide the game. Like, if Vader gets caught here, I mean, he's only going to have two B-wings shooting him potentially if he got blocked on
But
Cassian,
they're
for
pretty
example.
good B-wings.
Right. I mean, that's two very accurate attacks. But, I mean, there's a lot of green dice involved. You never know. Dino's all about green dice. Sorry, he's with us.
31 red blanks in one match yesterday. I rolled 31 red blanks in a single match.
That's rough, D. At least it didn't matter. It was just side events, right?
Yep. Oh, no. This was Swiss.
Oh, okay. Oh, yesterday?
2 days.
Oh.
All right, the
Hard
hard
one.
one. Oh, so he
That
really
was-
was not committing.
Yeah, that's a good way to react to the hard commit at Whisper, at least.
Mm-hmm. So I feel if he's hedging this hard, then he's hedging in all the directions, right? That's probably correct.
Yeah, passive sensors for the double modded shot here.
Yep.
He'll have a really strong shot into Cassian.
All
Only
right.
problem is he has the rock, but
I'm very excited to see these ace. These
he did the two straight, it sounded like. I think it might just be clear, but if Arvo gets him, it looks clear. Or is it a block? I
I
can't.
think it cleared.
I don't know.
Oh.
Ollie said nice, so I'm not sure what that means. It looks like it probably cleared because I think Ollie is deciding on an action right now.
I think that's right. But I mean,
So-
all he's got is a barrel roll or boost, right? So,
right. Only a single reposition on the
and the
quiz.
problem is, that I think the boost might be in. I suspect a 3-bank
yeah,
from Vader.
three bank from Vader, which is what I would have done here.
Right, but that means the boost is in the way.
Yeah, so Vader might get out here with like a 3-bank afterburners, or maybe he just needs a roll, but Inquisitor's kind of hung out to dry here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which means he
that's-
needs
that's
to, like,
tough spread. So
basically
I'm really
barrel.
surprised he went the two straight, but like given these hard turns, like I'm not sure what the best move for Quiz would have been.
Right.
Like the one bank, you'd be in pretty much a similar position. Like maybe you bank to range or barrel out to range 3, but like you're still taking so much. Maybe he's considering like taking an evade and just turtling here.
Yeah,
But,
one
I mean, that-
force.
And he did say that he's not in any bullseyes right now, so at least there's no crack
I
shots
feel
if
like,
he does change.
But I mean, this arc is extending probably. I think the barrel.
The barrel gets you out of 2 arcs, right?
Yeah, I think
as
that's.
long as you don't block Vader, which
But I mean, like, if
Yeah.
that's the 3-bank,
yeah,
the barrel out should probably.
So
and
I
you take the
agree.
link focus, right? Just turtle up as many tokens as you can
yeah,
get.
exactly. So you have force and
Oop, I
focus,
didn't delete. Yep.
but
I mean, we don't know Vader's dial. What if it's 3-turn or something, and that's the reason he's worried about it? I don't know.
yeah, I mean he's already revealed, or he told Inzaro he's discussing sort of
Mhm.
what he's thinking through right here. So he's declared what Vader's dial is. We didn't quite catch it.
Mhm.
And I think he's also thinking about just going really aggressively
No,
to
he
try
can
to
sell
kill
out
the
the
U-wing.
yeah, he can sell out
Like,
the
if he just
Inquisitor
leaves
if
him
he
here,
trades.
yeah.
If he trades well, I think he's okay. But
Because I think, yeah, Quiz still has a lock from the previous turn because he just needed a force to get
Mhm.
3 hits.
yeah, there it is. I think
that's the safest move. Like, Quiz taking 2 B-wing shots here at most, like, seems like he has a good chance to survive. And that's, like, even if he lives with 1 health here, he can still do a lot of work in the future.
I agree.
The big thing that Inzaro has going for him this turn, well, I mean, he's done a great job with this attack here, but he's going to have such little offense coming back at him. And that's one of the strengths of his list is he's able to constantly, like, threaten damage.
Mhm.
And, like, the aces keep having to play scared
Right. They
because
have
of
to
this
keep.
superior
Oh
fire
no, he moved the ship.
Uh-oh.
No.
Might be.
He
I mean,
accidentally
that's
moved the
pretty-
token.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
pre-marked the A-wing to be helpful for Ollie. It's all right. Those
That's
things
pretty
happen.
close to where it was.
It is pretty
Looks a little
close.
forward from where it was, but
It might be a little
Oh
forward.
yeah,
They can fix it. Yeah, he did He did it. He.
So they're gonna put them almost touching.
Yeah. Make the nubs kiss.
And it does matter for Vader potentially getting blocked, but if it's a 3-bank like we think it shouldn't
Yeah.
matter.
I think he
A
was
2-bank
moving
it would matter potentially.
He's doing it to basically. He was pre-moving it so he could put the template down. I don't think it's a block.
Oh yeah.
They're laughing about it.
Yeah, and these are 2 European guys. I'm sure
Oh,
they
it
probably
is the
see each other.
return. though.
Return.
So that's why the barrel roll is a problem. So
Well, he still has
barrel-
the
I mean-
barrel out, which should get out of all arcs, right?
Yep.
As
it
long
it
as
does.
as long as this clears, which it looks like it does comfortably, right?
Yes.
And
So-
the reason he did the 3 turn instead of the 3 bank is the 3 bank probably clipped that debris. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the angle, right? Like, it could very easily be 3 bank was never an option.
And
And so the barrier roll out.
because like the 3 bank might have hit the debris and the 2 bank would have been blocked by Arvil, for example. So Ollie might have picked the perfect move there.
Mhm.
Because I think if you hit the debris, you couldn't afterburners, right?
No,
Or
you-
you
yeah.
can because you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
do it while stressed. Okay.
Nonetheless, I don't think I want to stress Vader if I can help it.
Yeah, and he's already used 1 afterburners charge. He wants to conserve that next one.
Because now he's in the game of
once-
Chase Me.
Once Vader runs out of afterburners charges, he becomes much easier for the Rebel list to pin down.
Sort of like Leia, right? The threat of Leia is almost better than the use of Leia, and so the threat of afterburners is better than the like. Once it's down, the lack of threat is really big for the opponent to be able to just predict where you're going to be.
Absolutely. So the good thing for Ollie with all this is he's only taking 2 effective shots here. Quiz is probably going to take some damage, but he should survive, barring some
I agree.
craziness. The bad news for him is he's only got 1 shot to Cassian, which is range 2 or 3 through a rock.
Yeah,
It's probably not going to do a lot.
but he has some pretty good follow-ups here. Like this is what I meant by the whole
Yeah, so
idea of like Whisper just
Whisper's
dunks
in a
on.
great position, although
We're going live.
like you were saying with the
Oh, yeah.
threat of Leia,
Yeah,
like Whisper's in a great spot behind the whole swarm,
Yeah.
but behind doesn't necessarily mean much when they can all just
I
turn
agree.
around.
But I mean, it's still like this is what I meant by Whisper can just dunk. Like just the constant threat of either of these, because again, like he doesn't want to turn into this death alley, right?
So
All right,
this
let's-
was the quiz shot, not spending the force to get an extra die.
yep.
2 dice into a B-wing, gets 1 damage. And now we have the Whisper shot into Cassian.
Where's my tin numb at? Give me my tin numb.
That was passive sensors to get the lock, so he has the fully modded shot with force and target lock. Target lock 1, that's the right way to maximize your damage there. A little unlucky there. But really, you weren't expecting to do a lot of damage there.
No, yeah.
Like, he would have been fairly lucky to get 1 through.
You take what's offered to you.
Although with 5th brother there, that could have been a crit.
Right. All right, let's see
So
what
here
happens.
comes the damage into Quiz. Ollie's really hoping for pain on these rolls. I think. Ooh, so the good thing there was Braylon hit the debris, I think. So he's stressed. He didn't get the focus, so he only had the reroll, so didn't get the fully accurate shot there.
Yep. Spending the
Yeah.
force.
Ollie being as conservative as possible there.
Yeah. Because I mean,
He's taking a range 3 shot. He's rolling 4 dice. He really wants that focus for this
and
one.
he knows that like Inquisitor's not realistically engaging next turn.
So fortunate for Ollie that
And
Zera
why
never got
spend?
more than 2
Mhm.
and is able to dodge it all. So no damage done that round. Ollie's done the only damage of the game so far. And like you said, the next turn from first glance looks pretty good. You have the decloak behind the entire swarm. Vader can run away pretty safely. And Quiz, I think you got to be straight with like a fast straight
I
move,
think
right?
that's right. I think that's absolutely right. I mean,
But knowing that, and Zero just has so many things he can do, especially with Leia. The only problem with that is you have the double stress on Braylon. So you can pull off one of those. He won't be able to do a red move this turn because he would still be stressed.
no, because Leia would turn it white. He just wouldn't.
Oh,
he wouldn't get an action.
You
from
could
it.
do Leia and Cassian. You're right.
But so there's a little bit. So it would be the what? 2K.
You do
2K.
2K. Yeah, I think the 2K is better than the Talon roll here because you don't know.
And then the Talon roll would have to be this. I'm just like limiting their space because this.
Well, so I
this
wonder, would it be better to? I'm not sure exactly what would like. Is there a way you could threaten both the Inquisitor decloak and the straight from?
I think the answer is
Quiz?
not well. Is
You're right.
the thing, right? This might not
Because
be.
you could I think to threaten a decloak, well, to threaten both, you kind of want to pivot Cassian all the way around, but
So
it's a little awkward because Whisper can sort of barrel roll on either side of Cassian
right.
there.
I think the answer is I think. I mean, I don't know, but I think in terms of the feeling, I'm not sure this is the best use of Leia yet, right? In terms of.
I mean, yeah, you have a couple options. You could just hard turn again, but I don't think that's going to accomplish too much. A fast move from Quiz gets you out of that threat, really, and Vader's gone with a 3 bank boost roll, worst case scenario. Maybe a 5 straight, but that seems unlikely here. He has the option to maybe move everybody fast after Vader, but I'm not sure if it might work. And again, because of decloak, you always have the option to threaten 2 places. If he did, he could still decloak to the left of the board here and like do a bank in to threaten from that angle as well. So Whisper's still got a lot of different ways she can attack. So I think it's a tough turn for Mazzara to figure out what he wants to focus on here. Because
I mean, this is so despite everything and being a little scary, right? I mean, I think that you have to that's the safest maneuver.
Yeah.
The only way it's really air quotes punished is like a super heavy Leia usage.
Well, and even that, the problem with that is the 4-straight, I don't think goes far enough to get in those K-turn
it's
arcs
not even
too
guaranteed,
much.
right?
And like you could just barrel to the edge, and you'd probably be out of most of those arcs, I would imagine. I wonder what Arvel's going to do here. If the 2-turn fits, he could maybe try to get in Vader's way, but I'm not sure. I mean, it seems unlikely to catch the 3 bank with a double reposition. And the A-wing, of course, has the only way you can double reposition is with the barrel first, so that sort of limits the places you can end up.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of hard thinking from Inzara's end on this one.
Right,
and
like
legitimately.
Travis and I both are a little more familiar with the aces side of this matchup.
Right.
So to us, the ace moves seem a little more clear here.
Well, I think Ollie's done a very good job. I mean, look at this, right? Like it's hard for a reason because I think the ace player. I mean, not that Inzara's done anything wrong. He's taken some good opportunities, but this is what it's like you were saying. The hard part of these jousting lists is that like look at the positioning. Like these are not a good turn, right?
Yeah.
He has the free Leia, but once it's used, he'd be facing this side of the board, right? That's not a good direction because even if Whisper does this, Whisper can start going back this way, right? It's not like Whisper's hard committed.
Right.
So it's like he's got to make some pretty hard choices.
I mean, I guess, I'm not sure what move you do after the decloak because the decloak 2-straight would be really aggressive, actually. Because then you'd be next to the rock and you wouldn't be able to barrel out if they hard committed there. So it might be safer for Whisper to decloak to the left and then just do that bank.
Right. It's a lot less committed.
But yeah, I really wanted to wonder what the best option is for Inzara. Like, it seems like the simplest move to do is sort of just turn everything right, sort of at Quiz and Vader, but I worry that that's a little too ineffectual here just because of how far Vader's going to be able to get away and Quiz with the fast straight. I mean, I feel like you just have to respect those moves.
I think
you can't really expect Quiz to like bank or turn in here. That's
right. Not
at the top 16 of Worlds.
And not only just that, you've not seen anything from Ollie to imply that he would do that at this point, right? Ollie has, so at first, like, sure, you did the 3-turn here.
Notice too, I mean, not that these players are doing anything wrong, but there's 7 minutes left in the round. We've used half of the time.
Yeah.
So Ollie definitely has to be thinking. I mean, there's still a lot of game left, but like, he wants to preserve. Like, he really doesn't want to take any damage, but all he really needs to do is get, one more point of damage into Cassian, and he has the lead.
Right.
And he needs to just stay as safe as possible.
Right.
So I would expect definitely some more very safe options from Ollie for the next turn at least.
And the key is once there's half points on Cassian, it changes that you can't even score half on Inquisitor to win. You have to actually kill Inquisitor or half something else.
Right.
Because I just checked.
Inquisitor is pretty cheap.
52 compared to 58 on Cassian.
And this is one of the first Grand Inquisitors that I've seen in play. Like, you tend to see a lot of the I3s these days, but not too many people are willing to shell out the extra 20 points for the I5. Any ideas for what you might do with Arvel here? I wonder, if the 2-bank fits in front of the debris.
Arvel really sold out, I feel, for that. I feel like
one thing you could do is, like, if you expect Vader to go fast into that area, like, you could at least get a gun on him. It's not super effective, but you might be able to threaten getting in front of him. Like, if the 2-bank fit, you could go in front of that debris with the 2-bank and then roll here and just sit here for Vader doing the 3-bank. You get a shot that's probably not going to do much, but the important thing is now you're able to get in front of him for the next turn. So, like, if you committed the whole list up like this, that might be
I think you're selling me on that. I think the answer might be I was going to say with the Arvel, it kind of depends on what you want. I like that better now that you've because I think I want to go this way with these 3 ships. I think I want to go this way and then figure out my Leia later.
Yeah.
So that I like that Marvel move in combination with that.
You could easily do the same thing with the 2-straight
or
something.
But that also threatens the fleeing Vader, and that makes Vader run. He can't, Inquisitor
and like,
can't
if you're thinking of what you
capitalize.
want to kill with this list, all of the Imperial ships are very durable, very hard to kill, a lot of agility. But like, in some ways, to me, Vader seems like one of the best targets to kill. Because first of all, it's worth a lot of points, the most amount of points in this list. And second of all, you don't have any evade actions.
Mm-hmm.
So those blanks stay blanks.
Yep.
And that goes a long way, especially when you have so many shots coming in potentially. And imagine if you're able to get that intimidation block, like Vader could
Game
easily
ending.
melt in one round of shots. So that's all it really takes for Inzaro to get back in this game.
And the tenor of the game
Okay, so it is
changes.
the decloak to the top, which, like, originally we were thinking the decloak to the right, but after closer inspection, like, looking at what
It's
could
just too
potentially
committed.
happen, yeah, like, this gives it much more options. You just have a simple bank in here. You're going to get shots, and really isn't much of a threat. So this is a one hard, and he is stressed. He's keeping the stress here. The nice thing about this is...
Oh, wait. I think he Cassian that stress instead of Braylon this time. Yep. Okay,
Good.
so we just missed
We
the
didn't
Cassian.
we didn't even think of that.
Well, I mean, with the double stress, I actually just assumed that because the 2-turn is not functionally much different than the 1 turn,
Mm-hmm.
so I just assumed that he would.
And I mean,
But
I assume he does a green and gets rid of 1 stress this turn, and then next turn Braylon's fully operational. So this is trying to.
So he decided to go.
He called the Whisper move. That's really impressive. He's going to probably turn in with everything at Whisper.
And Arvel has just gone off
This
on
is
his
really
own.
impressive from Inzaro. I mean, this is obviously why he's in the top 16 here. He really had to think. I think he saw all the same things we did as far as what
And he made his choice.
And we were looking at the quiz and the Vader, and there's just like no good way to get an attack here.
Actually,
he is splitting up his fire here.
He hedged. Huh.
I think I would be happier with the fully committing to the quiz, but obviously that's what we have the benefit of hindsight now, knowing where Whisper is. If he had fully been with everybody after Whisper and he decloaked the other way, then it looks way worse. But
I think he took a risk here. Maybe he just realized, hey, I got to take a big risk. I mean, that could also be the thing where he's like, sometimes you just know where you're at in the game, and you're like, hey, man, I got to do it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he tried to punish the.
If you remember the quiz dial in first edition, it used to have the 4 straight was green. Now only the 3 straight's green. I actually didn't know that until yesterday. So he did the fastest move he could, but this move is always going to be safe and probably not going to get hit by anything. I wonder, do you think there was any way the 1 hard with the double reposition could have caught that? Because I thought he might have been going for that, but
I think
it probably wasn't possible.
Yeah.
Because that would have been an amazing attack if he could have pulled off the stress, done the double reposition, blocked the straight, and then hard turn everybody after quiz.
Yeah, it's just the 1 bank. Okay, he didn't go super hard or something crazy.
So Inzaro correctly called Whisper's move here, but the problem is you just take a defensive action here, right?
Yeah, I don't think you take any
because
extra risks.
You still have force, evade, and like the evade is really effective when you're taking fewer shots. In this case, you're only taking 2 shots.
Yeah, he's talking about being
a
in
barrel
range.
roll.
I think he is only if he's like wondering if he can dodge a shot. I think you
Yeah,
barrel.
absolutely. Because you still have the force and evade, so you're fully
but I think he's
defensive.
Probably going to find out. I don't think that. I mean, we don't know. He's going to have a better bull's eyeball than that, but I don't think he dodges that arc.
Let's see what we can see here. That's a little wider than it actually is, but I suspect that even the barrel is still in. So he passive sensors, which is sort of aggressive.
It is aggressive. That's a shockingly aggressive.
So 1 point here, Travis, is that he has 5th brother.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he's willing to be aggressive here, he's going to get damage into Cassian, like almost guaranteed. Is this a Talon roll? That is the ballsiest move I've ever seen. If the entire swarm had bitten with the hard turn to the corner,
Vader
it
is
would
in
be
a
very
scary spot next turn because of the intimidation Arvel.
And he's stressed. A stressed tie advance style is not very
And he doesn't have any
good.
target locks on any of these ships.
The only thing he has the afterburner's charge he could use. But I think it's very aggressive, very risky. But so I'm surprised he took this risk here. But I mean, the other thing is that, well, if he does get blocked next turn by Arvel will probably have a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Not guaranteed though, depending on the
Oh
blocking.
yeah, the angle. Yeah.
Only Braylon's there to follow up with that. So, like, Vader can probably survive 2 shots, worst case scenario, next turn.
Mm-hmm. Vader may not even have a shot here.
And if he does have a shot, it's
die.
wouldn't have a lock.
Yep.
Because his lock's still on Cassian, I believe.
Yep.
And Braylon has taken no damage.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Because 10's taken 1.
Yep.
But
there it is. Hey Han.
Yeah, Braylon's pretty good ability.
Turns out.
All offensive and defensive dice. So
All
he's
right.
going really aggressive.
To get points.
He has Fifth Brother to get a crit through here, which I think
Maybe.
I mean, there's a very real chance he could kill Cassian. I mean, if Cassian blanks out, 4 dice coming in more or less fully modded.
I mean, I think that's what
with
he's
a
banking
crit,
on,
like,
right? But
I mean, either a debilitating crit like a weapons failure, a blinded pilot.
just do that.
Well, always had.
And didn't spend anything, so he has the
Right,
defensive
that's-
evade and focus or force.
So at least he gets to get a defensive roll, but having to spend that focus means the shots coming back into the Whisper are not as effective. And this is half points. Points finally scored here.
2 evades.
Weapons
Oh,
failure.
there it is.
Basically,
Weapons failure.
almost the best case scenario for Ollie, is given that he couldn't have killed him even with a direct there.
Right. Did you use those same dice? All right.
They want to use those dice. Those,
All right.
They have all the crits in them.
Shields up, so it won't matter. Force evade.
Wait, why does Whisper has 2 evades here?
Because he hit.
Oh,
Yeah, you're good.
the ability, right. Checking for crack shot here. Are they supposed to check that
no.
before?
Yeah, definitely not. He's supposed to spend before
Yeah.
now.
So yeah, the way you're supposed to do that is you would determine whether or not you're going to spend the mods. Ollie should be like eyeballing whether or not the crack shot is there. They're not supposed to officially measure it until.
Yeah, you're supposed to spend. It's in to encourage overspending before. Like, you don't know.
At least that's my interpretation and what I've played before, but it's possible that they're ruling it a little different here.
And I think they're no crack shot. And that's it.
That was the.
Consequence. That was the Cassian 0 because the force was spent.
We only rolled 3.
Weapons failure.
Oh,
Yep, and no focus.
that's right. Yep.
0 damage. Consequences. We don't believe in them. All right, but we
So-
still have this. We still have these shots coming in.
Yeah. Well, Cassian was a 3, or maybe. Maybe some of the shots were out of order. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They did Cassian out. They shot out of order.
But they seem fine with it.
And
So
nothing.
Ansaro not super happy with how the offense went that
No,
round.
yeah.
I mean, variance slightly in Ollie's favor, but I mean, I would say like the
I mean,
the
this is
expected outcome there wasn't vastly different. Like
Yeah.
you could hope for damage into Whisper here, but
yeah.
the fact you're probably gonna have to spend that focus on defense most of the time.
or you're gonna.
I
Take,
mean,
he could have chose not to and just been closer to one hole, right? Or to
Right.
take the risk of the crits, right? But that's what it boils down to.
Mhm.
Because in reality, you're really hoping like shields down, maybe 1 extra damage into Whisper is your more realistic outcome.
Mhm.
I think is the real answer. Because Whisper's going to get that extra evade. Like, that's the beauty of the initiative killing and the higher initiative is like you're pumping in damage, you're pumping in the chance of crits,
Mhm.
which you have a crit generation through the Fifth Brother,
Mhm.
right? You have the target lock for extra crit generation, though technically not spent. Could have easily have been spent for rerolls for more crit generation.
Right.
Focus is functionally a crit generation plus the chance of the 1/8. That's what he's banking on. This is a damage dealing ace list. It's not just an ace list. It's there to punch.
So Ollie's definitely clearly ahead now.
Mhm.
This next turn I feel like is it's one of the last chances for Anzaro to try to claw this game back here. A couple of things he has going for him. Like we talked about before, we have the Stress Vader at the top left of the board here. Fairly predictable.
Yeah.
One thing I would consider if I were Ollie is the 5 straight white move.
That's
Keep
exactly
the
what I was
stress.
thinking, right?
You have the afterburners if you need it. You avoid any obvious blocks. Like trying to do a green bank a blue bank here seems very risky. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that from
Chris
Ollie.
prefers the gray bank.
Oh.
Yeah. But
The
yeah,
other,
no,
the
I
other
agree.
thing here is that Whisper is somewhat predictable, and he has to decloak right, most likely.
I think so.
I think
Yeah.
that's the only decloak available.
Yeah.
So Ollie gets to predict fairly well what Whisper is going to do here.
I just don't know what you can
Unfortunately
do
is-
about it.
Right,
This
like
is
that rock's in
predictable,
the
but
way.
so what? Yeah.
You can rotate Cassian, but Cassian's not going to be around for much longer. Like you got to get the most you can out of him this turn.
Like, not stressed, right? So easy to come in and just come in. I mean, you don't have to go that
yeah,
hard.
with that
I just
rock
drew an
there,
arrow.
like you could pull the stress out the beaming in 2K maybe, but I
Sure.
mean that should fit assuming the Whisper moves especially. But yeah, I mean, really, really tough position for Inzaro now.
Yeah,
And
I agree with you on the 5 straight for Vader. I don't think I take the chance here because I didn't take any damage.
I wonder if it's obvious, but even if it's obvious, like,
Well, the
it's
problem is
so hard to. Well, yeah, because Quiz is sort of in that position, so it might be impossible to block even.
I think so. I don't know. I don't know if it is.
The only way you could potentially punish is maybe the K turn and rotate from like the rotate in place from Cassie, maybe face the bottom left corner or bottom right corner, and the 2K from is that 10 helmet?
Yeah, this is
the yellow one's 10.
Yeah,
and then 2-turn Braylon. Unfortunately, if you're doing this, Braylon's still stressed. You'd have to pull a stress off of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you keep the stress in 2-turn 10 numb, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you're never getting that fully modified Braylon shot that you really want with this list. And, of course, like we're all saying that the 5 straight is like what Vader's going to do here, but he always has the option.
You have to
there's such a
respect the
mind
other things,
game.
right? Like you have to respect the
And
other
like
things.
against most players, I would
is.
expect just a blue move, right?
Yep.
So
The candy cane should fit here. We don't have a
you think
perfect
so?
angle.
It looks very tight.
He could easily just have bailed. We don't have to believe.
Right. Like, I think with the rock there,
It's true. I agree. Actually, I
he
agree
might have
with
had
it.
to do a bank.
That's fine. There's the Leia use. All right, Leia's down.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Yep. All right, so he's trying to do his best to get it.
He's blocking all the blues from Vader right now. Takes a focus there.
Yep.
Because, I mean, that blocks the 1 bank, the 2 bank, the
Yep.
1 and 2
So
straight.
he's saying you have to have done the
yeah,
fast
I mean, he's
maneuver.
daring him to do the best move, or, like, the correct move that we think. But
yeah. But it also makes him have to say, hey, you're not engaging Vader. You're not clearing the stress. You're not doing your stuff.
Right. So there's the
Mhm.
rotation we saw. I mean, it seemed like the only real option that Inzaro had there.
I think so.
You got to use it or you lose it.
Right. I mean, he's getting close to having no Leia.
So clearing a stress here, I mean, that's definitely nice thinking forward.
Mhm.
And he's going all in on the block here. If he gets this block on Vader and he has that Arvel shot, Vader's in a lot of trouble.
A lot of trouble.
The 2K.
Yep. I agree.
So I think Inzaro doing the best he can in a rough position this turn.
I don't think
So
he can. I mean, he could barrel here, but he doesn't want to is the problem. So he's going to kind of have no 10
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if 10 none needs his ability.
they
though.
probably can have more information than we do as far as what Whisper is going to do.
Oh, he just doesn't care.
I mean, if that candy cane was available, then this nullifies
Feature. Well, feature now.
it. Yeah.
Right?
It sounds like it is the 1 hard. Can you tell?
All right, candy
But
cane.
to me, it looks so close to that rock. But given that the 1 turn is going to put you about 1.5 bases forward, and just looking at 10 num there, I would hold that rock.
Ooh, I think
Everybody
you might be
clinch.
right. That's on the
It
rock.
looks
That's on the
clear.
rock.
Well, I don't know. Keep going back
Also,
and forth.
I don't know if he clears. I mean,
Right.
like feature. If he's on the rock, feature that he got blocked, right? It's on the rock.
Well, the rock moves, so I feel like.
Well, he was bumping it to even try and.
Okay. So, if this Tandem has a shot
He
on
has
Whisper, oh my God! So that's really a potentially a huge swing in
Mm-hmm.
Zaro's favor here, and a crit. Oh my goodness!
Wow, this is gonna swing.
So I mean, Ollie had done everything right up to this point, but this is the thing with those aces lists; they're so fragile. Any minor mistake and the complete momentum of the game.
All right, here's this fast speed maneuver to just try and just alpha. Cassie
Yeah, we didn't
off the
talk
board.
too much about Inquisitor when we were thinking about the
Yeah,
moves,
yeah,
but
yeah.
the hard turn, some sort of hard turn was sort of expected here. The thing here with Quiz, he's in these arcs, but realistically, we all know Inzaro is going to be shooting Whisper this turn, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
like,
yeah,
that he has to at this point, so you can just be aggressive here.
I agree.
He already has the lock though, so yeah, just take the focus, have maximal damage.
Yep.
Because now you can afford to spend the force
All
for
right.
the.
So at least he did that. He must have just thought the 1 turn fit.
Well, and it's so much harder to judge because you have to visualize both the decloak and then the 1 turn. So that's the hardest part about playing Whisper is, and you have to plan ahead to plan out your decloaks for next turn generally. So
Man,
great,
like I said,
great
feature
move
if
from
he
Ollie.
accidentally got blocked there, like accidentally saved, but
Yeah.
Not so much.
But I mean, yeah, the worst case scenario for Whisper here, but Vader's happily here. He doesn't even need to spend an afterburner charge because I assume he's already out of arc of Braylon.
Yep.
But I mean, that's why always on the top tables here. He knew not to do his blue maneuver there because he would have gotten caught.
So target lock. He needs all 3
So
here.
this is the shot from.
He needs all 3,
from
and
Quiz.
he needs a blank to
because
ensure.
PS killing Cassian could really save Whisper here.
Absolutely. Yep.
And Cassian rotated, so he's only rolling 1 die.
That's right.
So this.
That's it.
That's a dead Cassian.
That's a dead Cassian.
All he had masterfully positioned and gotten damage into the swarm, but Inzaro almost clawed back this round by trapping Whisper and Whisper hitting the rock here.
Mm-hmm.
He would have had 2 shots into a Whisper with only 4 health left. You should probably update the Whisper health.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Thank you.
So that could have taken Whisper off the board this turn, but being able to PS kill with the only shot he had into Cassian here meant that it should be very unlikely that Whisper goes down here.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible.
That's a good
There's
start.
the
That's the 4 dice. So, well, he has the evades, so there's no crits. The most he can do is 3 damage. Whisper is at least going to have 1 health. And there's 2
and
evades.
he spins it, moves on with life, 1 shield, 1 hull. Right? Like, you just move on with life.
Yeah, I mean, it was a painful turn, but getting Cassian off the board is huge. No more Leia, no more pulling off stress. Those B-Wings are a lot less easy to maneuver now.
Mm-hmm.
You have 10 num sitting in front of the rock.
Mm-hmm.
Whisper is in a great spot to just candy cane with the
and just
decloak
restore
to the left. And
no
hard
decloak.
turning.
No decloak. Evade's
Oh.
gone. But
Wait,
nonetheless.
oh, yeah, he spent the evade.
But I mean, they're not in a position to capitalize. That's the key part, right? Even
Whisper
the 1
has
turn
plenty of time to get his cloak back up.
like 4 straight just to be able to start coming back around. Any of those.
Or K-turn, is that too aggressive?
I don't know.
Because you probably have a shot on 10 num.
It might not be. So the 3K puts you right here.
You have
Your
plenty
blue
of time,
moves put you here. I'm just thinking about future decloaks. Is the problem is you never want to be in between these things.
If you 4K, you don't. There's no way for you to get an evade token, right? So you wouldn't be able to cloak.
Right. So you'd be 2 turns away from cloaking.
Right. But I think he would have the time. So
the 1 turn is good, except for that the only cloaks would be forward or to the
yeah,
left.
those options don't look amazing.
Yeah.
I'd be tempted to 4K here for sure.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of harm.
This
is just too
far
slow,
to
right?
Threat.
Arvel's fast, but like.
And
so
you still
what?
have a fully healthy Vader and Inquisitor here. Vader's in a good position to do like probably a 2 bank blue, come hard at 10 num.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to have Arvel and Braylon hounding him from behind here.
Mm-hmm.
The one good thing is Braylon is stressed here, has no casting to pull it off. So he can do the 2 turn and just keep the stress, but that doesn't quite get his arc. Like he's a little off center or like off angle there, so that's not going to turn his arc quite as far as he wants.
Right.
But then your only other option is the 1 bank.
And this is the problem. I
great.
mean, I think Inzaru took a risk. I think he was taking the risk. I think it was a calculated risk.
And
he
well, given
understood
everything
that
that happened last turn, I think he gave himself almost his maximum chance to win.
Yeah.
The only hard part was like, what could you do about the Vader straight move?
Yeah,
maybe there was a solution there, maybe there wasn't. So he just had to go all in on the blue move from Vader and hope that Ollie made a mistake there.
Right. I don't think there was much better.
Ollie didn't make a mistake with the Vader.
I agree. I think that's it. And I mean, the initiative kill was more likely than not, right? With the target lock already built in.
Correct. Yeah. And the one only having the 1 die when you rotate the U-wings, like that is when they're most vulnerable. Yeah.
Yep.
So we're expecting the 2 bank from Vader, the hard turn here, probably the hard turn from Braylon because, well,
2 turns.
Assuming it fits, I don't know what else you do there. This 10 num just like straight over the rock. I'm not sure.
I mean, he kind of has to. I mean, he could bank or something if he wants, right? To kind of just collapse on Vader and take some shots into him.
Arvel's trying to boost over Vader here.
Yeah.
Or did he want to? Oh, he can boost into him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wonder what that accomplished, but I guess he thinks it's going to slightly change his angle, which is favorable. And hopefully creates more room for the 2 turn.
Yeah. And it did, actually, I think.
It's very close. At least he changes his arc a decent amount.
Ollie just letting him know that he's okay with the eyeball there. It was a complicated. Yeah. Hello, B-Wing.
So he's trying to block a lot of Quiz's moves. The Inquisitor has a lot of short, very slow maneuvers.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the Quiz chose to just hard turn to the right.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, worst case scenario, if you even got bumped. So yeah, it sounds like he is hard turning to the right with the two turn.
I mean, the beauty is Quiz is still not stressed, right? Like he has very few reasons to be like linking action. So that's a very good dial without being stressed. I mean, it's a good dial even while stressed.
Yeah.
But even better while.
Very unpredictable when it's not.
I mean, look at this. Like the Quiz is falling in behind, just falling in behind. And without Leia, those B-Wings are just B-Wings. Now we're starting.
Now he's going to start chipping in damage, and
so now it's turning into a real dial.
Hard one, okay.
Okay, so he's just going to try and turn into a real Whisper, right? Like he may not cloak, or he'll cloak.
Do you think he has a shot on Detendum here?
I think so. No.
Looks like it might be a little too far.
Yeah.
But I mean, worst case, he can.
He didn't.
He needs to evade or cloak essentially to be able to decloak next turn. Although his decloak option next turn is only forward. Really?
I mean, he may just decloak and then not decloak. Like that's a real answer. I'd be okay with that, right? Oh, he just passived.
That's
because
really
assuming he gets to shoot, he
must think he has arc, right?
Yeah.
And the straight from Vader, I guess he felt like the 2 bank was risky.
I guess so. I mean,
I'm really surprised you. So Vader might be a little vulnerable here, because he can into afterburners.
Yeah, there it is.
He's using the last charge, so you're gonna bank boost here.
Forgot I can.
Do you think the barrel will give him a shot, or do you think he'll just barrel out to try it away?
I don't see the.
Try to get
think
range?
barrel. I think just no reason to take shots here. I think.
Do you think it gets out of 10 num? I mean, worst case, it's only a focus shot from 10 num.
I don't think it gets out of 10 num, but I think it gets range on
here
this
he goes.
shot, right?
I assume he goes forward here. He's considering the options.
Mm-hmm. And then you link stress focus, right? You should, for the crowd that will never see it, you should have seen Pun's face. What? A linked
stress,
what on Vader?
Vader in this position is not what you want. And the important thing here is Vader's out of afterburners now, so he's.
But the key thing is that
to pin down.
He's getting the game he wants. It was always going to be a game of chase me with one and the other two falling in line. He's slowly getting the following in the line.
Now I'm really happy with all his positioning all game. I mean, the biggest mistake he made all game was that positioning with Whisper, but
I mean, it happens.
And well, like, given that he was in a good position to threaten casting that turn, like, he was never really in too much danger.
So he did not have a shot? So he just got his passive lock?
Lock for later, not the end of the world. And Whisper's not in a terrible position to not decloak. Because the decloaks weren't that great anyways next turn. The only thing he loses is carrying over the evade. Ollie
to 2 shields.
Apologizing for his very good red dice there.
Yep. Here it comes.
So the score looks close, the box score 58 to 35, but it feels like Anzaro's really losing grasp on this game here.
3 on the Vader.
That could do something.
Random half points Vader here really changes the game, but not going to happen. One shield.
Pretty average roll, but Anzaro really needed to get a little lucky there. So 1 damage coming into Vader.
One damage on Vader.
And was he?
Yeah,
I assume he's out of range of Arvol.
I
don't know if they already measured.
They have.
I think they might have.
Yeah, I think they've they've been kind of fluidly firing out of initiative and been okay with it the whole game. Okay. Nope.
Oh, so there you go. Just out of range. So, I mean, Quiz is in a great spot here. The 1 hard's green, right? So, or blue, sorry. So, if that 1 turn clears the debris, I mean, there's not too much
Yeah,
to punish
I mean,
that.
There's basically nothing to
I
punish.
mean, maybe
Arvel
the
could
hard
try and
two from Arvel, but do you have the follow-up?
No.
Maybe you do.
Braylon can't do anything
Yeah,
about
Braylon can't help.
it. Only
Tendum could.
Tindom
maybe.
could, but then it would make sure that Whisper isn't doing anything. And
Yeah, I mean, I assume Whisper banks in. I feel like you can afford to come in. You take the evade, you still have a lock and a force charge. Vader, do you think you 3 hard here, or do you just like
So,
bank?
Arvel's still a landmine, right? So you have the problem with
Yeah, I mean,
Arvel,
the 3 hard can threaten things.
right? Because he can threaten Whisper, and you
Yeah.
can get Whisper erased.
Well, I wonder if I don't know if he can quite get in range of the 1 bank. It's possible though,
Right.
Like, because you have.
Oh,
the
he's
3
stressed too. He's stressed too, actually.
Oh,
So
and the 3 bank's not.
yeah, they're not as good. So that actually restricts him to the 2 bank or the 2 turn, and it's probably the 2 bank, which would put him here. So that actually would just make a face off.
Far enough this
I'm
round.
pretty sure that just makes it a face off, which I think Whisper's super in for,
And
right?
Arvel's not really in a position to threaten Vader.
Mm-hmm.
So he could just do the solo block on Quiz if he thinks he can get it. Means he'd have an okay shot.
3
but
on
I mean,
2, yeah.
Yeah, 3 on 2, but no mods for Arvel if he does that, because he would have crack shot maybe,
True.
and passive force for Quiz.
But he would also he would be stressed for that, so we wouldn't have a follow up.
But I feel like for Enzaro, you have to get points. Quiz seems like the worst option right now to try to get points. Like, you have 1 damage into Vader. I mean, you're 2 damage away from half on Vader, or 2 damage away from killing Whisper. I feel like
my
you have
thing
to
is
commit to
like
this.
because of this fear with Whisper, are you actually bringing Vader back in, or are you trying to run Vader?
I mean, it seems like the safer move is definitely like bank
That's what I was
Vader,
thinking.
like
but
2 or 3 bank, whichever fits.
if that's the
closest to
case, then
board
I also
edge.
feel like I want to bank Whisper.
I mean, Ollie does have the option to completely disengage right now. You could like 3 bank Whisper away and cloak.
right.
You can run away with Quiz, but I feel like, I mean, I've been in a lot of these positions where, like, I mean, the Rebel list feels like they can't do too much this next round, so it's tempting to stay in the fight, because it feels like you can still get some solid damage, solid exchanges in the next round. So I don't expect Ollie to fully disengage like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Vader does the bank at least. But like, Vader does have to respect like a hard turn from Tendum and barrel.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, right? Like
That
yeah,
seems
and
like
selling
they're going
in.
all in on Vader.
I don't even
I
disagree with the
assume
idea,
just
right?
focus
Distance.
boost here from Arvel. Yeah.
So
that-
Braylon can't make that distance is the problem. The problem is that this only punishes the turn in from Vader. So if
well, the hard 3 still clears but gets shot at. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but there's
not
al-
a great. And
yeah.
I mean, but the bank gets shot at too. So definitely some better moves from Enzaro to like make sure he's going to get some useful shots here.
it also slowly punishes the ability. It can get Arvel in the landmine
Is
ability.
this clear?
No, and it
Oh.
doesn't stress him either.
He really needed that 2-turn roll. Did they move at the same activation, or Arvel's a 3,
No.
so
He
didn't
needed
really
the
have a
one
choice
turn.
there. Yeah, because if he could have done the 2-turn roll first, everything would have been perfect.
1 turn, hold down the debris.
But I mean, no matter what Vader does here, because he doesn't have afterburners anymore. Even if the 3 bank fits, I think he's still getting shot by both of those ships.
Like a glove, gonna plow into
The
Braylon
1 turn
here.
that we expected there, and just take a lock, fully modded range 1 shot.
1 bank, and they can plow into Braylon.
Yeah.
Except the problem is I guess you plow into Braylon. I was
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
you're
Braylon's
closer to
like-
half points on Tindom is the irony, but.
Well, no, Braylon's taking.
Oh no,
1.
you're right. I did it wrong. It's Braylon that they've been hitting the whole time. So yeah, just plow into
So going a
passive sensors. Just focus. Oh, okay, never mind. He explained. He
thinks-
walked us through it. He thinks he can kill
He
Braylon
thinks
this
he
turn.
can kill Braylon with 6 dice. So it is a hard 3. Interesting. So I mean, he'll be able to roll out of Tendum. He'll still take the Arvel shot. He should be able to avoid crack shots. So it's only 2 dice if he does this right. So. And you have the passive force. He's not overly afraid of a 2 dice
Right.
shot.
You just force or focus. Yep.
And he will have fifth brother, so I mean it's a fully modded shot from Whisper. Maybe that crit will be enough.
Target lock. Yep.
So
Reroll. Han did
so
not
that's
save him.
2 shields off of Braylon again. Oh,
Hull breach.
I guess we were a little off on the damage. So
must have been.
And that's why Ollie felt confident that he could get the kill here. Hull breach, that's actually going to be huge for this incoming attack here because, of course, in second edition that comes into effect immediately. Target lock. And that's a crit with fifth brother. So even with that, that's 2 face-up cards coming in. If there's a crit chain here, Braylon could die. And one of them was a direct, I believe.
I missed both of them.
One was a direct, so that.
Well, that would have
just
been two crits then.
Well, yeah, two crits with Hellbreach, so all I needed was one for to be a direct.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Dead. So
Yep.
easy.
So.
Well, apparently he could kill Braylon.
Yeah.
Before Braylon
I think we're off by 1 on the
Yeah.
damage there.
Yeah, that helps solve that
But
problem.
I mean, I think a little bit of luck for Ollie to get to the kill, but not extremely unlikely either.
No,
I think it's more of like
and
a
the risk
60-40.
on the back end was low, right?
Yeah, I mean, worst case, you're taking one shot into Whisper, who probably hit, so you have an evade. Whisper probably doesn't die there.
Yeah, we missed a shot on Vader, but it
Unlikely
didn't matter.
to do anything.
There's the shield on Vader, so nothing happened. This game is snowballing very, very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Ollie's just made really solid moves the entire game. I think Zaro put himself in a really good position, but it's so hard to pin down these aces. Whisper's still extremely effective in a matchup like this. Maybe one of the reasons Rebel Beef was so strong was, well, I guess that was the Quad Phantoms was like sort of the counterbalance.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It was a close matchup with guessing where those Phantoms were going to go. But, I mean, the nice thing about, like we said at the beginning, like you have these 3 really accurate shots from the Imperials. So you're able to much more reliably put in damage to these Rebel lists. So I feel like with Arvel, you try to get a block, but the problem is Whisper's decloaking away. Vader probably runs here, right?
I don't see the the Arvel thing. I don't see a reason to bother.
Especially if they know that there's 2 minutes left. Like, there's no reason to hard turn Vader in here. Like, if the 5 straight fits, you'd probably do that, or the 3 bank if you have to the.
I'm not even sure I'd candy cane Whisper in here just because like the decloaks are terrible, right? Like you can't decloak.
True.
Next turn. I mean, there might not be a next turn.
Right. I mean, this could be the last turn, and I mean, Ollie might have also realized that even if he lost Whisper, he still might be winning. Like, that would be my suspicion.
All right. There we go.
So, Arvel coming in to threaten the hard turn in from Whisper. And that was a 2K from Tendom as well there. He's barreling to avoid crack shot there because he thinks Tendom has the bullseye. And that could have been very sad for Inquisitor.
True. Yep.
And so he is running away.
Yep. I mean,
realizing he doesn't need to take any
2-hole
risks
Whisper,
here.
the decloaks were
This is the
terrible if there was
last
another turn. I mean, on the off chance there were a fast turn, the decloaks are terrible. I mean, there's just nothing
and
to be
he just
gained.
cloaks here, right? And you have evade plus force plus cloak. You're
I mean, he could even focus.
pretty
It
much
won't
zero
matter,
chance
but I
to
think
take
he's gonna.
damage. I guess
I think at this one he may not know time.
It's
but
also obstructed here, so
yeah,
almost the
force,
same.
evade, yeah. And
5 forward to run away.
I might even
so
be able to rock. I don't know.
Ollie correctly realizing he's in a
And just
commanding lead here. There's no reason to take any risks.
And the only reason Inquisitor's there is because Inquisitor couldn't leave.
Yeah, and Inquisitor is also the one who hasn't taken any damage, and generally is
and
pretty hard to kill.
And worth the least amount of points. And only barrel rolled because of crack shot, or otherwise probably be evaded right now.
Right. We'll double check it. So Vader's set up for a next turn if there is one.
He's not spending the force to even do more dice. Yep. Not spending the force. Has literally no reason
to do any more damage
here.
here. You're not going to get half points, so.
I believe the players have heard time in the round. Yeah, they certainly heard that. 1 damage.
1 damage into the quiz. And we have a
trying to score
shot
some points
from downtown. The most it could do is 1 damage. It could be a crit that kills Whisper, though.
True.
You would need to roll 4 blanks here and take a crit, but that's not going to be enough.
Literally unhittable.
And that's enough, so.
That's the game.
Looks like Ollie pulled this one out. But yeah, really great positioning from Ollie. And Zaro put up a really good fight and did the most he could there. He was just. Yeah. I mean, it really felt like there was no right answer at some of those points.
Right.
Especially as long as Ollie did the right move as far as like things like the 5 straight from Vader, not falling for that. And like moving Whisper correctly, like doing the decloak this way as opposed to this way. Well, I mean, and Zaro called that, but like.
Even so, calling it. Like there was. Because, I mean, he called it, but he didn't call it enough because he didn't believe.
He didn't bring in Braylon there. Like, that might have made a difference. Like, splitting up your forces is – I mean, it's a tough decision with these lists. But, I mean, the ace lists just put you in such difficult positions all the time.
Right. I agree. I think it was good maneuvering by Ollie. I think it was also good attempts by Anzaro to lay the traps. But also Ollie saw them and was able to force Anzaro to realize by the triple positioning, right, between Vader, Inquisitor, and Whisper that is hey, man, you got to commit to one of these.
They are playing one more round, it looks like? Okay.
Huh. That's unexpected. Also gentlemanly, but probably completely unnecessary for any amount of points. I think it's literally unwinnable. Well, I don't think anyone's done math, right? They could give them all of Inquisitor.
Inquisitor could
52
maybe
points.
Die here.
I just meant like it's an unwinnable for points even so.
Right, like killing Inquisitor does nothing to change the outcome of the game.
Yeah. But maybe they haven't done the math. It's fine, right? Like
he's boosting.
What's funny is I'm pretty sure Inquisitor has done like
that
a 5
blocks
straight.
A lot of Inquisitors.
I would have
just
moves. A 5 straight towards the board edge at this point, right? Like none of this matters to me.
Maybe the hard 3. But that's a little risky. So one thing I was thinking about is the previous iteration of Rebel Beef would have had Wedge in this matchup.
And I think that would have, the damage output would have skyrocketed.
Not just the damage output, but moving at 6.
There it is, 5 forward from the Inquisitor. Literally 0 chances, no reason to participate.
He knows it's the last turn, so doesn't really care.
He's not even off the board, right? Even if there was one more turn, he gets more turns.
But he doesn't care that he's like sort of out of position there. Right. That's fine. Just token up, 4 straight to the board edge.
Yeah. No more turns.
Did he hard turn in here or did he bail? Okay.
Hard turn, yeah. No more turns. No more turns.
All right. And that, well, one shot that I don't think matters with the evade.
He wants, if his opponent wants it, he gets
it. No, well.
There it is.
The points wouldn't have mattered, but yeah.
Ollie apologizing for his dice. But, I mean, they both played a good game. There's nothing to apologize for.
It does help to have, like, the damage in earlier. That like, if those early shots hadn't done damage to Cassian, like, I mean, getting that PS kill at the right time there, like, that was really critical. So you could see how it could have maybe swung back the other way.
I agree, but, I mean, Ollie set himself up for success at that point,
absolutely.
right? He had the target lock in advance, turns in advance, right? Yeah. So he that's the beauty. He had the target lock in advance.
He's going to have consistent red dice with those mods generally.
Right. He didn't have to spend force. He had the focus, right? So he even had defensive in case he needed it. He had set himself up for success. I mean, he should enjoy the pre-positioning. He set himself up for success. Not that Anzaro made any mistakes there. I'm just saying, like, both players were jockeying for position, and Ollie came out on top on that one.
But, yeah, really cool triple ace list.
So
making it to the top 8.
Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll be back in just a little bit with the top 8. And thanks for watching.